I was really on the fence if I wanted to do an actual video review of this series, but then I was on Goodreads and somebody said that it lacks substance, and I was like, hold the phone. We need to correct that. We need to fix that because that's not true about this series. Hello friends, happy Friday. I'm very excited to be doing this video review. It feels very awesome to be just filming a video in general outside of this past Wednesday because I'm so excited to be here, friends. So yes, as I said, I was really on the fence if I was going to do a video review of this series, and I honestly don't know why because I really enjoyed it, and that is Daily Report About My Witch-senpai. I can totally speak. Sorry guys, I feel like I'm still recovering, and when it comes to like sinuses, so I feel like I sound stuffy. But that does not take my excitement away from this 2-volume series, or at least currently, because I did hear that it's getting continued in Japan, which is very exciting because this is a very wonderful adult rom-com. Yeah, it's a josei that I would just highly and strongly recommend. I don't know how many people recommend this series to me. I got this when our AC went out earlier this year in, what was it, July, June? I think it was July. But I got this series then because I was just like, I'm tired of people recommending this to me and not knowing what it's about. Well, I mean, I knew what it was about, but in case if you're not familiar with it either, this story centers around, her name is Shizuka. She is a witch and she works at this office place, and this is the hero. His name is Misono, and he is just your typical office worker, but he works, like I said, with this witch, and she makes things very interesting, but she's always running around doing things for people that ask her. Like, she's very much a pushover, and people have taken advantage of her, and he sees this. Misono sees how people are using her, and he doesn't like it. Like, he doesn't want her to run herself ragged, and he doesn't know if he's just sort of feeling this way because he wants to look out for this very flustered senpai who's super kind and very nice, or if he's starting to develop romantic feelings for her. And since this is a 2-volume series and he is on the 2nd volume, you know that it's a romance, and it is so wonderful. It is everything. It is so very good. So here's the thing. Typically, when it comes to books that I say are my favorites, I base it off of how many times I've reread the series. Like, if I didn't base it off if I reread the series, there'd be a lot of favorites. And I think that's perfectly fine. But I think of, like, which is really weird because it's not even December, I think of, okay, what are my top 5 favorite series of this year? My criteria is that I have to have reread it at some points because that's how it gets, like, eligible, so to speak. And if that was the case, if I'm continuing that criteria, this series takes the win. This series takes the win, specifically volume 2, which I have probably read like 4 or 5 times. It is so very good. I don't know. I don't know what it was or what it is about this series, but it very much captivated me. I mean, obviously I got it, so I assumed that I was going to like it, but I was very surprised how much I loved this series. It is very moving, and it has this very special magical charm that is just so engaging. And I was so upset when somebody said that it has no substance, because one of my favorite parts of this series is that there's not much action. Yes, there is some action that happens, especially in the 2nd volume, but it doesn't have like a bunch of drama. It very much focuses on these 2 characters, and I just really appreciate that because it felt like a very light series, and it was just nice to read something where we're not dealing with a lot of external conflict that's trying to interfere with the ship or interfere with our couple. And even more than that though, while I would definitely say that volume 2 is very much my favorite of the 2 volumes, volume 1, it has a romantic element, but it's more on the back burner, I feel like, or maybe it's just more of a slow burn. But the thing is Shizuka, when you first meet her, I feel like you can instantly have compassion for her. You see how much that she is just really running herself ragged, but she's so kind. She's a very sweet and lovable person. I feel like it makes her instantly likable, where you want the best for her. And it's like, Misono, thank you for looking out for your senpai because she needs that person in her life. And so with that said, you do meet this other character that comes on the scene who was very horrible, and I was very surprised that I actually felt that character was very triggering because of what I said about Shizuka, where she's very sweet and she's so helpful and so kind, and just she gives more than 100% when she's helping these other people. And for somebody to come along and take advantage of her when it comes to a romantic sense, let me pause real quick. There's nothing bad that happens in this manga. I don't know why it was triggering. Like, there's nothing graphic. This is very much a very lighthearted and sweet, very clean story. But when this man comes on the scene, and like I said, he manipulates her, I guess is the non-spoiler way that I could say it. And I was very upset. Like, I felt my heart starting to race, and I was like, he cannot treat this character this way. Like, she deserves everything, the best of everything. And this dude comes on and he's treating her like crap, basically. No. No, and it's not Misono. Let me make sure I clarify. It's not Misono. But I was really caught off guard by that. And so I feel like this is a very lighthearted series. But with volume 1, when it addresses the situation that Shizuka is in and her feelings, I honestly feel like the first volume shines in not the romantic element, but the way Shizuka learns to stand on her own 2 feet, how she has this new confidence that Misono helps her. And it wasn't because there was a romance or anything. Really, just the heart of the first volume is just how Misono helps her to just not worry, but care for herself and look out for herself, and how she doesn't have to run herself ragged simply because she's a witch, simply because she has magical abilities. Like, that she is a human, that she deserves rest, that she deserves to be treasured and cared for and loved. And Misono is an amazing hero. I love his character so very much. He is perfection. He is the perfect quote-unquote boyfriend material in this manga that I just so very much enjoyed. There's no pressure. He is the opposite of that one guy, and it is just everything. I really, really loved it. I love the dynamics of their friendship, of their relationship. It is so beautiful to see unfold on page, and I'm here for it. I'm here for it. Like I said, I literally reread this volume so many times because it's so moving, and the second volume definitely focuses more on the romance. But I guess it's just seeing this couple and seeing them grow is just, I don't know. I feel like that doesn't, that's not a good review right there. That's not a good way to explain how I feel, but I cannot pinpoint what it is about this series that speaks to me. What about this series that I just really, really love? I love the characters, yes, but maybe there's just something special. There's really honestly just something magical about this series that's very fun and very engaging. And this second volume had not a lot, but it had an interesting magical twist that I did not see coming that does make this more than just like a typical fluffy story. I don't know what that would look like for a typical fluffy story anyway, but I feel like it does give it some depth. I already love the series. If this was just a very fluffy story, I have no issues with that. I feel it has plenty of substance, if I want to be honest. So did enjoy that aspect, even though it's like, my heart right now. Thankfully things are cleared up very quickly in this story. I mean, yes, maybe just a little bit, just a tad, that it is a little bit fast paced at the end. It's still very, very good. It's excellent. Like, there's nothing wrong with it, but I wouldn't have mind if it was slowed down just a little bit more and we had those last few chapters just a little bit longer. I totally would have not minded whatsoever. Now, I know I've talked about the 2 main characters, how I love them. I wish there was just so many more things I could say about this volume. The growth and the art is just so beautiful. It is a very beautiful story to read, but also like beautiful story, like the actual story itself, but also the art is very beautiful as well. And I love how the manga said that she was so happy that she was able to draw like all these different stars. It makes it even more magical and just adds this beautiful element that I really, really enjoyed, just like visually. It was so great. But let's talk about 2 side characters, I think, and one of them is Komochi, and he is an iguana, and he is, I wish he played a major role, or like a bigger role. He is so cool. Like, for a magical iguana, yes. Didn't know that was like a thing that I needed, but he's sweet in a different way, and I do love the little backstory that we get with him and Shizuka. It was very precious, and I love how he really loves our main character because Shizuka is his owner, and like I said, he plays such a minor role, but when he's on page, it's so great, and I love seeing him. I would love to see more of him on page because he was so great. The same could be said of Shizuka's brother, who was an absolute hoot, and he doesn't have a huge role. I'm trying to find a picture of him. Here he is right here. And I love how Misono stands his ground when it comes to her brother, and her brother's like, what is this vibe? what is this vibe? I think he says it like 3 times, and it was fun. I wish we could have seen more of him, as well as Shizuka's mom, because she seemed like a very interesting character as well. I would just love to see more of these characters. This really was just a beautiful and very precious story, and I just would highly recommend it. I picked it up because I was like, well, it's almost Halloween and everybody's doing spooky reads, and I was like, well, I don't do spooky, but I was like, I'll try and do some magical, low-key, very not spooky kind of story with a witch, which is not spooky, like I said, at all whatsoever, but it fits the vibe. I feel like fits the October Halloween vibe. But I honestly feel this is a story that you could read any time of the year. It doesn't have like this, like I said, spooky element, so I just feel like it's one that you could read, like I said, just any time of the year and really enjoy it with the beautiful storytelling, the beautiful art, and just these moving and engaging characters and this very precious and so well done adult romance. This is such an excellent and highly recommended read that I would say to josei readers, to rom-com readers, especially when it comes to the workplace. And I would just say manga readers in general. I was trying to think of one more, but I was like, I really just feel like this is such a fantastic story. Do not miss out on it. I'm so very thankful to all the friends that highly recommend this to me, and I am just highly recommending it to you friends. If, like I said, if you need something that's magical with great characters and wonderful storytelling, this is a series that has plenty of substance. I know I've said it 3 times, but that irked me so much when I saw it this morning. I was like, we're filming a review. People need to know this story. This series is awesome. Check it out. It's so good. And I will stop there with my ranty rambles because nobody wants that. But I would love to hear from you friends. Do you guys like reading magical reads just, I guess, any time of the year? Have you guys read this story? If you did, what did you think? Did you enjoy it? I really hope you did. And if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. And thank you so much for watching. Bye!